What's going on, guys? It's your boy Boxing Facts or Fiction. I need you to do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon for more videos like this. Jermell CHARLO versus Tony Harrison was supposed to be a tune-up fight for an even bigger fight, maybe a unification bout with Jarrett Hurd. Good thing there's a rematch clause in this fight, and Tony Harrison is willing to give Jermell CHARLO a rematch because this was a disgusting judging. Before this fight happened, I wanted to do a pre-fight video, but I wasn't able to do that. A prediction: Tony Harrison is a difficult boxer. I knew this fight was going to be difficult for Jermell CHARLO, but I didn't think it was going to end the way it ended. I felt like being though he's the champion, if the fight went 12 rounds, he should always get the nod if you don't convincingly take the belt. But I'm not going to take nothing away from Tony Harrison's victory. At the end of the day, it's a victory on paper now. You know, on BoxRec is a victory. So we can't take nothing away from that. Whether we believe he got the decision or not, it's a win for him. Tony Harrison is rated 5-star. He's the number 3 in the USA. He's ranked 4 in the world in his division. And he beat the champion, according to the judges. Tony Harrison is 28 years old like Jermell CHARLO. I mean, they're both the same age, so this was a fair fight. Tony Harrison, he has 2 losses. One of his losses is to Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, if you guys don't know who Willie Nelson is, Willie Nelson's a guy who got stopped by the guy that said he's trying to humble Jermell and Jermell CHARLO, and Boo Boo Andre. Boo Boo Andre stopped Willie Nelson in the 9th round. Demetrius Andre stopped Willie Nelson in the 9th round. Willie Nelson's a tall, big dude, and Boo Boo Andre, Demetrius Andre stopped him. Tony Harrison's other loss was to Jarrett Hurd, who Jermell CHARLO's been calling out. I mean, what do this fight tells us about Jermell CHARLO? This fight tells us that Jermell CHARLO is not a pure boxer like we all thought he was. In the beginning he was, maybe when he was with Ronnie Shields, but now he's just out there looking for the knockout. I mean, does this also show that Errol Spence can be exposed as well? Because if they're in there with a really good boxer, they can be exposed. This shows that Terrence Crawford could probably expose Errol Spence Jr. as we seen Tony Harrison but I'm not saying Jermell lost this fight. I'm just saying he was exposed. I mean, you could argue this fight for either man, but being though he's the champion and Tony Harrison didn't drop him, he hurt him, they both hurt each other, but Tony Harrison didn't convincingly beat him. Like, for everybody to say, wow, Jermell CHARLO actually lost this fight, because the result was shocking. Nobody thought Tony Harrison was going to get the nod. But like I said, you are as good as your last opponent, or the people you lost to defines your career. It could or it couldn't. But anyway, based on the losses from Tony Harrison, he's lost to Jarrett Hurd, and he's lost to Willie Nelson, who Boo Boo Andre beat, and who Jarrett Hurd beat Tony Harrison. And those are the guys that wanted to fight Jermell CHARLO. Tony Harrison lost to 2 guys that wanted to fight Jermell CHARLO. Jermell CHARLO had an opportunity to fight Demetrius Andre a couple years back. Demetrius Andre pulled out for some reason, but Demetrius Andre stopped the guy that stopped Tony Harrison, who just beat Jermell CHARLO, you know. But at the end of the day, styles make fights, you know. Styles make fights. So maybe Jermell CHARLO could have did a little bit better against Jarrett Hurd, because Jarrett Hurd, he's a come forward guy, and Jermell CHARLO, he's a counter puncher. Tony Harrison, he's just a boxer. Tony Harrison, when he fought Jarrett Hurd, everybody can say he was winning majority of the round. Jarrett Hurd was losing the entire fight until he got Jarrett Hurd caught Tony Harrison in the 9th round and finished the job. Just how Willie Nelson caught him in the 9th round and finished the job. They both stopped him in the 9th round. I thought Jermell CHARLO was going to be in for a difficult night. The fight could have ended early, you know, he's a power puncher, but I thought he was going to be able to stop Tony Harrison in the late rounds. But if he didn't, it was going to be a difficult. Turns out the fight wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. The fight was actually kind of boring. Bullfighter didn't come out there to really, you know, dominate each other. Jermell CHARLO pressed the issue, but Tony Harrison just was in there, in my opinion, to survive. He wasn't in there to convincingly beat the champ. He was in there to survive. He lost most of the early rounds, the middle rounds, some of them were swing rounds. But throughout the fight, Jermell CHARLO pressed the action. I thought he was the more aggressive fighter. I thought he landed some of the cleaner shots, the more effective shots. But he did get hurt a couple times. Tony Harrison hurt Jermell CHARLO a few times in there. You know, there was no moment in this fight I thought Jermell CHARLO was going to stop Tony Harrison. But there was moments in the fight where Jermell CHARLO got rattled a few times. My hat's off to Tony Harrison for coming in there, not being a walk in the park. Tony Harrison, he said after this fight, he's the guy you could call to fight anybody. He's not afraid to fight anybody. He'll fight anybody any day. And the fact that he said he's willing to give Jermell the rematch immediately in like 4 months, everybody's looking forward to that fight. Hopefully it's not a boring fight like the last one, because I thought the last fight wasn't as exciting as it should. I think the rematch, Jermell CHARLO may come out there boxing a little bit instead of just going for the knockout and go to the body. I felt like Jermell CHARLO and Jermell CHARLO, they're very strong power punchers, pressure fighters. If they go to the body, they can stop their opponents sooner than later. But they never go to the body. They got, well, Jermell CHARLO got a trainer. Jermell CHARLO got a trainer like Derrick James. He teaches Errol Spence to go to the body viciously, religiously. How come Jermell CHARLO don't go to the body? What is Jermell CHARLO doing in camp? He's watching Errol Spence go to the body every fight. Why can't he go to the body? He's headhunting. He's just not a body puncher. He needs to change his game and go to the body. But like I said, the early rounds, I gave majority of the early rounds to Jermell CHARLO, man. He came out there guns blazing. He wanted to take Harrison's head off when the fight first started. He was winning majority of the first early rounds. From like 1 to 8, he was winning all those rounds, in my opinion, man. There was some there could, like I said, some could have been swung rounds. But most of Harrison jabs were being blocked. Almost all of them. But Jermell CHARLO, he's a great boxer, but we all know Jermell CHARLO has been almost outboxed in a lot of his fights. We're going to look at his records, his past opponents. Some of his closest fight has been against Vanes Martirosyan. Even though he got a unanimous decision, I thought Vanes did a lot. The John Jackson fight, he was getting outboxed. He ended up knocking him out. It was actually a vicious KO of John Jackson because he knocked him out standing up. It was ridiculous the way he knocked John Jackson out. I thought John Jackson was going to win that fight. But John Jackson got caught in the 8th round. A vicious KO. But Jermell CHARLO, like I said, he's been let off the hook because he has that power to knock you out if he catch you clean. He knocked out Erickson Lubin in the first. He had the momentum. And then he went and fought a great boxer who everybody thought he was gonna knock out too, and Austin Trout. Only one man I've seen knocked out Austin Trout, and that's Jerrett Hurd. Jerrett Hurd knocked out Tony Harrison, knocked out Austin Trout. Jerrett Hurd's the man to beat. He might be the best at 154. You know, he's knocking all these guys. He's knocking all these guys out at the highest level, so he might be the man to beat. Can Jermell CHARLO beat Jerry Heard from past opponents? I'm not convinced anymore. I mean, like I said, styles make fights, but Jerry Heard seems like he's built for it tough. He's beating guys at the highest level, guys at the elite level with knockouts, and Jermell CHARLO has not rise to the occasion. His fight with Austin Trout, that majority draw, was like the start for something bad in the career of Jermell Iron Man CHARLO. At 28 years old, with 31 wins, he's taking his career really slowly. I think he needs to fight 4 times a year. He's getting older. He's in his prime. But I think this loss will be a humbling for him to stay focused and get back in the gym. Stop partying with his brother and just focus on boxing, because they're out there partying. I heard they're drinkers. They drink a lot, you know. See, Earl Spence was hanging out with these guys, and Earl Spence was on the mic being drunk one time, talking smack about Terrence Crawford. These guys are in their prime, man. They're making good money. They're young. So they're going to be out there partying. But if you don't stay focused, on any given night, you could lose your title. And this was what happened with Jermell CHARLO. Like I said, it's a learning experience. I hope he bounces back. And I hope to see a better Jermell CHARLO, the knockout artist we're used to seeing. Go out there and knock out guys at the elite level. If he rematches Tony Harrison and doesn't knock him out, and it goes to decision again, I mean, the judges could give it back to Tony Harrison, because Tony Harrison, he's an outboxer. But with that being said, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.